I did a song with Timaya, and I played it for my friend Omami, and Omami said, WAJE, this song, now Baba song. I said, eh? There were a lot of songs that I didn't even touch because of my faith. For a body that has professed Jesus, whether we agree or not, she's saved. In the banking sector, for example, we've had more female presidents and CEOs than we've had in the last decade. Why don't we get inspired by those people? And literally, if nobody's giving you a chair, create your own table and ask your own people to join your chair.
And employ a man as your migad or your driver. In recent times in the creative space, right, a lot of creatives, musicians, actors, fashion designers have come out to rightfully say and proclaim their stance as it concerns, their belief when it comes to God and Christianity. I could go on, I could give you like a long list. There's Chidinma Ikile, there's Spyro, there is Vicky James, the list goes on and on. Right? Now, our guest today is one of such celebrities, one of such, amazing people who have also directly said, listen, this is my stance. Yes, I'm in the creative space. Yes, I'm a musician. Yes, I love to make music about love and all that great stuff. But when it comes to God, I am serious. When it comes to God, I don't joke with him. And I think that takes a lot of guts, especially in a space like, the music industry in Nigeria. But before we go into all of that, now, I have to give a little bit of craziness. My name is Charles Bourne, and this is a new episode of Freaky Table. And as usual, she's on the low cut today with a lovely denim shirt and a white pants, looking quite pristine, if I must say. Joan! This earring is somebody's net worth. Is somebody's net worth.
Please give me all your give me your watch now.
You say what?
Give me your watch in exchange of the.
Sister, don't be bringing out my leg in public. Don't do that. This thing you're doing, don't do it. I will follow you to Cameroon. I've told you before.
I'm building house in Lagos.
You are.
Of us will have to share space. I'm telling you.
At this point,
we're taking tips.
I love it, but it's always an honor doing this with you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you've been amazing.
Thank you.
You are amazing. I'm gonna say you've been as if you're dead.
I'm alive and well, please. Our guest today is a songwriter. She is an actor. She's a philanthropist. And listen, she does it all. A businesswoman par excellence and just a sweetheart at heart. She's a good person. And most importantly, she likes to call herself a Jesus what? A Bible-believing Jesus babe. That's what she says that she is. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's actually tongue-talking.
Wait, now what's coming to you? You don't go collect this in your mouth. And WAJE is in the building. Welcome.
Okay.
Please say that thing again.
Tongue-talking. Demon chasing.
That's it.
Rapture awaiting.
In case you think that she will do all those and not go to heaven. She will be raptured. Welcome to the show. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I just want to go, straight into it. But before I, do that, it's a very dicey place, especially as a creative, living in Africa, in the world, to be honest, to say, and in an industry like yours, to say that. Yes, I do music, I sing about love, men, women, all that great stuff, but publicly, saying that I don't joke with Jehovah. I don't joke with God. I'm a Christian, I'm a Bible-believing Christian, I'm a tongue-speaking, I'm a child-waiting one, even, at that, and be bold about it. We've had people, we still have certain celebrities, I said Spyro, who is very, very, very audacious vocal about it. Vicky James, even recently, talking about what had come out to post that, listen, she wants to start a whole community of Christians who actually would gather, read the word, pray, speak in tongues, even though on Snapchat is a different thing. Babe, welcome in here, right? And it's exciting, and I like that. It's not a trend that is common, and I think that it takes a lot of guts, right? You even went ahead and did a whole body of work concerning Jesus, and I thought, wow, Chidinma Ikile literally did the whole switch. She said, listen, I'm not about this life, I'm not doing gospel, right? Were you always this, how do I put this? Did your relationship with God grow?
Yeah.
Was this always you, or did you get to this point later on? I say, you know what?
So
I'm going
I've
there.
always, well, I'll not say at some point, I think I was in university, not I think I know. I was in university when my relationship with Jesus started, right? And at the time, you know, there were so many things that were new to me that you know, younger, you have ginger. I had a community of young people like me who really, you know, wanted to experience and express their love for God. So it was contagious. I was in Believers Love World, you know. So that part of my life, I was audacious about it. It wasn't really a problem until I decided that, okay, I want to also do entertainment, right? Now, the thing about your question, did I have to grow? It's only natural because there are so many things about Christ and his word that we don't know if we do not read or study, you know. And at that time in my life, it was just literally Sunday medicine. I'll go to fellowship, I'll commune with my friends, but I wasn't convicted, if that makes any sense. So of course I loved Christ, or I love Christ, but I wasn't convicted. So it was easy for me to say, oh, there is Christ and then there's my job. But that's not what it is. Do you understand? But by the time you understand that, you can't separate your faith from who you are. It's easier to now be you and do the job that you do. You understand? Because then there's conviction. So you know why you're doing the job. You understand the space that you're in. You know that you're doing it for a different reason from maybe a child's, or rather from me just being famous. Fame is great. It's, you know, you want that. But the deeper you go, you realize it's not just the fame that, you know, brings the gratification for you anymore. You know? So I had to grow to that point for me to be open about it and audacious about it. So yes, I do love songs, but I don't also joke with my love song to him, if that makes any sense. So I guess that answers your question.
It does.
Wow.
You just said something about you realize that it's not just the job, but also gratification for you. And to me, I might be wrong, it sounds like, you know, when you're in a space where you're doing what you love,
Yeah.
but it seems as though something is missing.
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. So I was doing what I loved, but what was missing was why I was doing what I loved.
Purpose.
There you
Right.
go. You know, because some people think, I don't know, it works for people differently, but I'll just speak on myself, about myself. Initially, when I started, I really do love music. I truly do love music. I was one of those people that you literally, I could forget everything once music is. I remember one time I was listening to a Tony Braxton song, and I think I was in GS3 at the time, and I was supposed to be reading, and I had a small jukebox that's, you know, that had a TV by the side that my dad had bought for me years ago, and I kept it all these years. And I was listening, and I literally felt my mother's hand slap me from behind, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing at this time. You are supposed to be reading, and my mom was a teacher, so you understand how strict they can be, especially when it comes to their kids. So music, literally, I was on scholarship in school because I could sing. So music was and is my life. But at the time, I didn't realize that the beauty of the gift is not just because I can sing, but it's what I do with it. The doors it opens for me. And these doors are not necessarily for you. You open those doors for other people, right? So I was so invested in the fame, in, oh, I have a song, in this, in that. And then when you've achieved most of these things, then what next? You're just like, okay, another album. So I got to a point where I started getting anxious every time I needed to release a song, like literal anxious. Like I don't even want to be in that space. I love the creative side of it, but once I'm done, I'm not loving the job anymore. Right? So I had to, and this happened around 2016, I had to kind of just remove myself from it and started asking myself questions again, like, okay, so WAJE, it's music, but what is the purpose of the music? Why are you here? Why would, and I'm also being very careful because some of these things come with understanding. And for me, my understanding wasn't just about, okay, your voice is for gospel or no. No, you were sent to the marketplace to reach people. Who are the people you're reaching? Why are you reaching them? For what purpose were they there? What purpose are you to reach them for? Do you get what I mean? So I started growing in trying to figure that out. And my figuring it out was from a place of seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything will be added. So it wasn't for me to plot the graph. It was for me to just kind of sit down and have conversations with my father and just always feel myself and trust that the output in itself will drag the people that he needs me to reach. Do you understand? To me. And half of them is not even through music. You know me. I have so many mentees that, they're in different spaces. And I know that music kind of opened that door, but that is not just what I'm bringing to the table. And in that, I'm hoping that I affect their lives enough to see that, okay, there's a different life from a life that everyone else is used to in terms of fame and and the world and all that it offers. Do you understand? There's a place of peace and knowing who you are and enjoying and living through life, like living through your years in life, but living it in the way that he has created you to live it. You understand? So I'm still in that process. I'm still learning as I go, but for me it's different now. So
yeah. There's this notion that people have when they say when somebody has been successful, you had everything,
yeah,
and like Job, right?
yeah.
You had everything, and then either you started losing those things or you've lost it already, and then
Then you
that's
now
when you start
face God.
run to God. You be like, God, you are my Lord and my Savior, and all of
But
that. What do you think about
it's well
or do you think that
for
people
me it's
have people
wrong.
ever have tied
It's
your
possible. Nobody
to
has ever referred to me that way, but
okay.
it's possible. But I don't. It's not correct. And I tell you this, in one of the biggest breakthroughs in my career was 2013. That's the year that quite a number of things happened for me. But there were a lot of songs that I didn't even touch because of my faith. Do you understand? Like the song with Burna Boy, I didn't shoot it because at the time my album came out and I had a conversation with my dad, or well, my spiritual leader, I go to the Waterbrook Church and that's under TPH Freedom. So by the time Pastor Tony had spoken to me, he explained it to me. And the way my understanding was there are three boxes, right? And then there's the gospel box, right? Where people in the church kind of edify the people in the church. Like, so you have the gospel singers and they're reaching people in the church. So those are the songs that we sing when we're in the church, praise and worship. When we want to have our quiet time, those are the songs that we sing. Then you have the conscious box. And these are people who are also believers of this space, but then they also do love songs because I don't know,
At the
but
end of
if
the
you
day,
were, even if you're a Christian, on the day of
doesn't mean
your wedding, you are not doing vows with the verse. Are you doing? Did they carry scripture to use it to do verse? I say, oh yeah, take it down.
As you please.
You actually write down your vows because these are real feelings that you feel
Yeah,
for the
for the
person that you love and you want to be able to express that,
Yep.
right? And so I kind of see myself in that box. And you have a few people that are in that box, the Johnny Drills, the Timmy Dakolos. So we'll sing songs. We want people to I feel like we're not only called to Christians, we're also called to people who, even unbelievers, people who just really want clean music. You understand? I want to celebrate, or maybe a friend or a deaconess, or however, whatever you call, whatever accolade or whatever title you have, right? And then it's your birthday, and you don't mind singing a WAJE song because you know that, first of all, the lyrics are clean, there's nothing sensual about it. I'm not saying that, whatever works for you, but I'm saying based on my own faith, right? And then there's the sensual box, and that's the box I will never go. I remember one time, I did a song with Timaya, and I played it for my friend Omami, and Omami say, WAJE, this song, now Baba song. I say, where?
Wait, now wait.
Now, don't worry.
I want to know the. I want to know the word,
Like,
please. No.
You know what?
I'll call Mom and ask her.
Ask her now. I start panicking. I said, Mama, what I go do? Me will come out this side. He say you don't release her. I said, I don't release her. I said, what you dey think? I said, God, between God and man. I talk say, I don't tire to the waka up and down as a single girl. Say, I want love. Now, what I mean, no, I don't mean any double or thunder or any of those things. So sometimes people take things out of, but that taught me a lesson. It made me also sit down and think through the lyrics, because sometimes you as the creator or you understand, you're sitting down and you're saying this is what you have in your mind, but the person who is receiving it is receiving something else. And the truth is, if you truly love God, you will care more about the person who is receiving than your art. So I had to grow to that point.
Right.
Wow.
Interesting stuff.
You first
Is that the Baba song? I want.
Press pause. Mommy go drag my leg. Come out.
Oh my goodness.
Maya.
Let's talk about your Christian body of work, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel when you were putting it together? Did you? Okay, so this is my question. Did you feel any hesitation?
Yeah, I did.
Fear for judgment.
Yeah. Two, why did you decide that, you know what? Okay, I think it's time.
So that body of work had been bubbling under for over a decade. I always wanted to, in my mind, I felt like it was possible to put a body of work that had songs that appealed and showed my faith, and still put songs like love songs and, you know, fun songs. Yeah. Because I felt like that's a representation of who I am, right? Yeah. But I realized, you know, that in the world, things don't necessarily work the way WAJE wants it to work, right? So I thank God for the team that I have and all that. So after going back and forth on so many levels, we just felt it was time, especially because at the time I had just turned, you know, I'm not gonna say it, but you know. So, you know, so I just felt at that point, it was more of an offering. It wasn't really about people going, oh, wow, WAJE has a gospel. No. For me, because of how far I have come and the challenges, I felt like I needed to musically give God an offering to say thank you for bringing me this far. It's almost 2 decades as a musician. I've been here. So many people have fizzled out. I'm still here. So I had a lot to be grateful for.
So that is the why.
That's the why.
Okay, then let's talk about the hesitation.
The hesitation came from me understanding that not everyone would accept it. Not everybody will feel convinced that it came from the right place. Not everyone will think that I am that instrument, that kind of project should come from, right? And it's not really just the gospel side of things too. And the question you raised, I also didn't want people to think, so you failed in music and now you're looking for a cheap way out and you think it's gospel. You know, I had those insecurities as well, you know, but I was just like, hold on, I die. Pretty much.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So recently, on social media, there's always a conversation around religion, Christianity, and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, even most recently, there was a whole fiasco between certain actresses about voodoo and all that great stuff. And there's been conversations about the entertainment industry, the creative space, where you may hear people say things like, whatever you're worshiping, hold firm onto it because of this kind of space that the creative space, is. And this is you who said that, you've had this body of work bubbling under for a long time. You've always loved, Jesus. You had a scholarship that was based off your, all of that, and then you grew. So my question is, first of all, that statement, is that an actual thing about the creative space where you really have to be, whatever it is that you...
Can I ask you something?
Yes, please.
is it just about the creative space?
Mm.
I think the world is crazy. I don't, like, honestly, I'm looking forward to meeting people who survive without
Out.
taking a stand where they fall, because life is tough. It's not just the creative space. The creative space, when you put on the camera, when you're in your, you know, your job, yeah, but your life, your day to day, coming that, say, there are times when you literally feel like you're going crazy, you know, and that's life, the pressures, you know, outside the entertainment, just your mere existence in itself,
Yeah.
right?
I think the reason why he's insisting on that entertainment, because I mean, especially recently,
It's because of all
the demonic,
yeah,
everything
but
is just
and which is why I asked the question too,
Right.
because recently I was listening to, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Apostle Selman or Femi Lazarus, one of their messages. I think it was Apostle Femi Lazarus, and he says something. He talked about a guy that was in a blue collar job,
Yeah.
I mean, 9 to 5.
White collar.
White collar,
White
sorry.
collar.
So a 9 to 5. And for some reason, the guy came to work that day. I didn't want to sit on the chair that was offered him, that he would usually sit. And his staff didn't understand why he didn't want to sit on the chair, but they didn't know that, you know, because he's someone who's always spending time. You know, sometimes when the Holy Spirit is shielding you from stuff, you won't know. You just
didn't
be
know.
uncomfortable with the energy there. And the guy didn't feel like sitting on the chair without realizing that somebody had done something there. But the guy not be musician now.
Right.
I hear you.
Do you understand? Like, you have bankers and lawyers and people who
Yeah.
every day they are trying to survive their colleague, you know, doing something to them, or you know. So it's really not the entertainment space. It's the world as we have it. And being African, our own takes it a notch higher. You get what I mean? So I just, for me, that's the way I see it. I don't see that, oh, because I'm an entertainer, I have to pray more. No, I pray more because I'm a human being living in the world in this time.
That human being happens to be a musician.
There you go.
I like that.
But the total switch, like Chidima moved from, they call it secular music, right? Am I right? Okay. So he moved from secular music to purely gospel music.
Yeah.
And people shamed her, like, so what do you mean? Like, you know, when they were singing, so should we take down all the songs, or when we see you, we don't sing those songs? KDK, all of those. Like, if you were supposed to talk to her, when she's doing that switch, that complete switch from that to that, what would you tell her?
I think she did an amazing job. I believe that for you to make that kind of decision, you've probably had, like, you have a conviction, you have had a one-on-one conversation with your father. You understand? And then dwelling on what people will say, that's you taking away from the power of what he has told you to do. You know, people don't understand that true faith is obedience. That's just the truth. It's not in the talks, it's not in how many times you read the Bible, it's in the action of obeying the instruction that you have given him, he has given you, because in obeying him, you are actually carrying out his word. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think she obeyed an instruction that was given to her. And you can tell, you know, that she is catering to an audience that he has given her as well, because she's also doing very well. So I would, if we rewind to when she made that decision, and perhaps if she had come to me and say, "Hey, WAJE, this is what I'm thinking," I would tell her, "High five, honey. Well done. We're with you, and we're cheering."
Power.
When I was growing up, you know, the kind of doctrine that I was exposed to as a Christian is, oh, the Lord is a God of thunder, brimstone, is a fighting this thing. I mean, he's a loving God, but he do use thunder.
You do
And
chastise his
do you
children.
understand? If he flog you here, you believe. Do you understand? And I mean, obviously growing and, you know, experiencing God and just reading the Bible, like, in context, and thank God for, like, you know, where I worship and the kind of pastor I have, you see that most of these things were, you know, read out of context, right? And yeah, that's that. But I still catch myself in, would I say, fear? And this is not me judging anybody. And I'm coming to the question. This is not me judging anybody or anything, right? But okay, I have a relationship with you, so I know what the truth is. But there's certain people who, celebrities and all that, actors, actresses, you know, musicians, who, of course, have come out and said, you know, this is my stance, I love Jesus, and it's beautiful to see, right? But then at the back of my mind, I ask the question: if this is not real, if this is show business, as it were, because like it or not, it's cool now to be a Jesus baby. It wasn't before. It's cool now to be a Jesus baddie. That's the word they call it now. Oh, I'm a bad bitch for Jesus. I am. I've heard it. I've seen it. Do you understand? Hey, I can mention names, but no, they will ban this video, right? But and I think I said, if this is fake, right? I know the God I serve now, obviously with experience, but I still catch myself thinking like that's 18-year-old boy who knew Jesus for the thunder and brimstone God. Then, so I'm thinking, if this is fake, if this is show business, I legit fear
of what he will do.
Yes, and what the repercussions are, right? As it were, as it were. So, my question now to you is: I know that you're a very, what is somebody who is very in tune? Like she has her senses. A do tingle. It's like Spider-Man. When you are off, she notices this one. It's not on a narrow straight, it's not narrow road. It's on the wide one, right? So I don't know if you've had those moments when you're like, please, right? I'm not gonna ask you whatever, but like my question is for those times when you felt off about maybe certain people saying that or claiming to be Jesus babies or whatever. What are your thoughts about just the entire situation? Are you like me that fears for
what
are they rapturable or like you know what I mean? I don't know if you get me, but like
God's going to strike them with that. And
So I would say that in my ignorant self, back in the day, would judge and say, this one is, you understand? Just as I have been judged,
yes, of course.
But the truth is, if I truly say I'm getting to understand the God and his character, right? I don't think that he gets upset with people who represent him in the wrong way. I think that he's more focused on correcting them to represent him in pride, right? Because take, for example, let's leave the word now and bring it to simple terms as humans, right? When you have a kid and you are giving this child to take care of, you don't assume the child knows everything. So you go with the child step by step. The first day you see your child crawl, oh my God, but you don't even yell because you are not certain the child is, firm enough to, but you're excited. And I feel like, I know that that's how he is with us. Do you understand? So even for the Jesus bodies, have we ever thought that he's probably recalibrating? Yes, because at some point they have that encounter. I have one of my pastors, and he said it online, so it's not something I cannot say. He literally had his encounter in his room after a club night with a babe. To the point that he was hitting her like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And she couldn't see. But he didn't come from an unbelieving background. He was hurting because a family member had died of cancer. And he threw everything to the wind. And it was like, what? This God that my mother prays to, everybody prays to. Okay, but he took you anyway. But he still had that encounter. God did not stay where he was and say, you, my son, when I go deal with you, finish, you go no sin, I may be God of Isaac. You understand? And Jacob, when I go finish you, you think say, I tell Moses, say, make you not enter promised land. You not go able to see the domot of, he's not like that. At every time. You see, the Bible says that all things work it out for good. And, in my mind, when I think about how all things, for a body that has professed Jesus, whether we are
Agree or
we
not?
agree or not, she's saved. It's her
Because that's been
consecration that is the process.
process. Yeah,
And he will get there as we all are getting there.
Yes,
Do you understand what I mean? So I don't worry for, in short, the people I worry for are the people that know. The ones that have bone,
and
that are cracking Bible bone, those ones that are the hair, the ones that have been soaked, they've immersed themselves in, you understand, the understanding and the wisdom of his word. And then they still
Gopo.
because sometimes I use it to, when me and my friends are gisting out there, I say, after I don't cause devil finish, I go come for the guy, if he catch me, I slap him with me. So, hey, I go to the but that joke, but that's how my mind works.
Yeah.
So I don't think that our Father is that
That guy.
He's a forgiving God, though.
He's forgiving. His love really, literally is. So it will shock you how many times, that we will be looking at them and like, see this song with all your body stuff. But he will be singing lullaby to that body. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I was, going through your Twitter, and now I understand some of the things that you post on Twitter. And one of the things you stood very firmly on promoting women in entertainment, and talked about connecting women in music to helping to bridge that gap between women in music and the administrative arm of show business. Why do you want to do that? Why do you think it's something that it's a mission for you?
I feel like that's my calling. I feel like that's why I started music in the first place. I feel that those things I didn't understand, that I felt, I had to go gospel, or did I have to be secular, or whatever terms. It was really about positioning me in a space where I can help position other people. Right?
So what did you see that was lacking or that was going wrong?
I just felt that, or rather, I saw that women didn't have enough representation. And even the ones who are being represented are not compared to the ratio of the men that are being represented in the industry. And I love my brothers, no shade to them, but I feel that there's room for an equal space of competition in the numbers in itself. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Arya Stars and the Thames, and what they're doing. But I'm talking female executives, people who sit down at the table and make decisions for the artists. And you don't have quite a number. You don't have a number of them. I don't know if Osage, yes, and there are a few of them that are doing really well, but we want more women to be able to say, okay, we are female executives in the industry that we represent men and women, or as from like myself, more women. I represent 70% women.
But do you think that women are doing enough to have equal respect and perhaps equal fame as their male counterparts, given the fact that men usually use these excuses? Let me use that as excuse. They say, women get pregnant, you become a mom, so that slows you down a little bit. You become
but even if that's
marriage as well,
does that stop you from being a human being? Does that stop you from eating? Does it stop you from your responsibilities? It doesn't. So why should that be a determinant factor of what I'm going to earn for, or why should that be a determinant factor of me living my purpose? It shouldn't be. It's just a part of my life, but it does not define me. Do you understand what I'm saying? A woman and man should be free enough to go back to work after a child. You understand? And you still get the same respect and welcome and the same energy as before you went. Why should anything change?
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So I feel like these things are things that we have to educate each other on. Right? I understand the complexity of, how our biological system is, and, to be fair, there's so many things that don't make it exactly a level playing field for our male counterparts and us. But regardless, I don't think that my competition is the man. I'm not bothered about that. I'm bothered about you giving me what is my value. That's the point. I didn't tell you to give me Chelsea's or compare Chelsea's value with my value. No, I'm saying I'm a human being represent me as you should represent a human being.
Mm.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right. But this is not a bet, but can you this thing, this is it the women's position in
Right.
show business has been, even in media, media,
Yeah.
has always been a topic of debate for men when we ask for things, equal pay, equal respect, all those things.
That's why we should not be asking. Let's just go and collect it now.
You know, on those international
Biggest
day of
example.
women, and those are some of the issues that pop up with female groups, and be like,
Right.
why is this not happening? Why is this? And then the men, like I said, all the marriage thing, you get married, you kind of slow down for a minute. You be like, okay, let me adjust, let me balance my life, and then you move again. But the time that you take to balance, which is supposed to be, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because you cannot just marry today, tomorrow you are off to London to go and do work. What happens to what's happening there? You can't give birth today and then the next day you're off. So you have to calm down, take time. So
okay, so I'm sorry. So there are people who have sort of, there are examples, people who have required this whole concept. And I think that those are the people we should focus on, right? In the music industry, Tiwa is a mom. She got married, she went through a divorce. It's not an easy, it's a life-changing, perhaps traumatic experience. But she got back on her feet. She's a mother, right? She's not the only one. Simi is a mom, and she's doing well as a mother. Omaomi is a mom. She's doing well as a mother. Now let's go to movies. At some point, the women got up. Jade, Kemi Adetiba, Biodu Stephen, Bolale Austin Peters, Mo Abudu, Funke Akindele. They are grossing. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So I think that sometimes having the conversation is petting the issue, if that makes any sense.
I completely agree. Listen, I completely, like, you just spoke my mind. I'm just like, I roll my eyes at him like, please. There are women who are killing it. Can you guys do?
In the banking sector, for example, we've had more female CEOs and CEOs than we've had in the last decade. Why don't we get inspired by those people? And literally, if nobody's giving you a chair, create your own table and ask your own people to join your chair.
And employ a man as your amigad or your driver. Yeah, or your personal assistant. All male staff, you are the CEO, madam. You can do it. Everybody. I literally roll my eyes when I hear these things. I know they have real issues, but like, there are women who are doing it and who have done it, right? So let that be your motivation. Ask the right questions. Do your research. How are they doing it?
And there are a lot of women who are willing to support women.
of course,
Amazing, absolutely amazing women who are willing to support.
I was talking there.
You know, for me, there was something I used to say when I was much younger, but I didn't quite understand it. Every time I was asked this question, what I would say is the rain where they fall for man, they fall for woman. This sun they shine for man, they shine for woman. But I don't think I truly understand it, because a part of me also felt like I was deprived of something in the industry. And to be fair, is not a level playing field. So don't come at me and tell me that, no, you don't know what you're saying, love. It's not a level playing field. But my point is, there is room to change the story. And I'm seeing women who are changing it daily. And I'm like, I want to be like her. I'm inspired by her. Okay, how did she do it? Can I get her number? Can we have a conversation? Can you give me tips on how you've done it? How can I bring it to my own industry? And I said, you know what? Rather than wait for a Universal to come sign me, I will create one and sign other women.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm very honest. I'll say what's on my mind, right? I think I like the fact that we're having conversations around women supporting women, right? Because it's an actual thing.
Yeah.
Men sign deals or put men on over a bottle of drink over at the bar. They just hear it. But you did this thing. Okay, come on, run now. And the collaboration is fostered. But that's from experience, one, because I have a ton of women in my life, assistants, and from conversations I've heard from other women, and it just been around them. That's one thing that I think is still lacking in the women community. Because what you see amongst women is more, what's the word, catfights, than how do we support each other. And even when they decide and say, okay, come, let me support you, somewhere around the corner, this happens, we do what? I don't know why it's like that with women.
I think, but I can't answer for
Yeah, of
every
course.
woman. I think from my own experience, right? I didn't grow up in an environment where I learned how to lean on a system, right? I didn't. I grew up in Benin, and we grew up in the survival of the fittest mindset. So, like I had great friends, but I didn't have that much great friends. I think that one of the things that we should focus on telling our children and ourselves, as sisters and fellow women like us, is that it's okay to disagree.
Yes.
But in our disagreements, it doesn't change the core of who we are and what we desire for each other. So that is, and me understanding that my sisters and I, we fight. Oh gosh, Omami and I, we fight. Jennifer and I, we fight. Girl, you were there. She just sent me a
Voice
don't try it again.
realize.
Look. But will I run to Girl when I need advice on something that is very important? Yes, because I know that it's the action she may not like, not the person. So I feel like many times what happens with women is that we forget that we actually do like each other. We dwell so much more on the action. And then when we've hurt that relationship, we're not thinking, how do I get back to talking to you? There are people that have stepped on their toes that I've had to call and say, I'm sorry for what I had to own. Whether they accepted my apology or not, I have to be accountable to myself to say what I did was wrong and I apologize. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
WAJE, you're also big on beauty. I think a couple of your posts you talk about talk about beauty.
Who is the big beauty? Sorry. Hey, beauty girl. Go on, I'm sorry. Maybe you had the
So
question.
you're big on beauty, but I want to. I'm asking,
Yeah.
when it comes to the beauty standards set for women in the music, in fact, creative space, what is your stand on that? Because I think the pressure is there, the expectations are like above the sky.
Yes.
Where do you stand?
Where do I truly stand? My sister, that's a very interesting question because I wanted to say something very silly.
Please say it.
I wanted to say, but I'm wanting to make a fun.
I'm screaming. After the ask people, I'm like, right. Say party. The person is my friend. These are the issues.
So my sister can't work out and make a money. Don't worry, I'm pretty. Nothing to do with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have a bad skin condition. Your body is just the way God made it. You're beautiful. We just need a little cash to enhance that beauty. Little vitamin C, lock in the sunscreen. By the time you wear what is your size and appropriate for your body shape, honey, you will be killing it.
Amen.
I agree. I completely agree, mate.
That's how I'm going.
You did not do that. You didn't just do that. No, God.
Because why people tell me this, and you can attest to it. Like there are people that make me and they're like, oh, WAJE, you're finer in person, and I'm like, it's my picture people are looking at. But the truth is, as I've grown older, I think I have flourished better. I look better than I did 10 years ago. So imagine if I killed myself based on 10 years ago beauty standard, and now the beauty standard today is different.
Very different.
Honey, just make your money. Work hard. That's all I'm going to tell you, sister. Work twice as hard.
Repeat that thing again. The money they make.
Now money they make best.
Honestly, what money enters? Let's have a show.
Everybody. That's joke.
Let's avoid baby hair, but put gel. Do you understand? A little bit of confidence. Oh my God! I'm not really tearing off. What anything else?
You would, and buy a wig, do something.
Yeah.
Heck, you are good. You're all right. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Listen, this has. I think it's been a very expository interview, pretty much. You answered all the questions that.
Okay.
And
I hope I
rightly so.
answered them
Yes,
properly and
rightly so.
accurately.
I don't know. Do you have any more questions? I'm done. I'm. Listen, this is what I go through. It's even what you're not supposed to anything. Okay, you're not defending you. Okay, but thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Trisha being here. I know that there's new music coming.
Oh yes, absolutely. So I have this EP called "Same Human, Different Beast." Yeah. And it's a little bit different from the WAJE that everyone is used to. I went more upbeat. He's listened to a couple of it. I went more upbeat with my sound. I'm just having fun, and I want people to. What I want people to take out of this EP is that I want more. I want more in a sense that I really want to experience more as a musician and as an artist, right? And I think that this EP is a true example of me, in the sense that the lyrics, it's a beautiful way to say things that are positive. I really made sure that I was lyrically clean. There's a love song there, but it's the kind of love song you really want to, sing to your bedside.
So somebody that you are, the people you are in love.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody
Inspire you
to go and find it.
to work on yourself so that your better half will find you.
So it's inspiring you now. That song, it did inspire you.
He inspired me. When I listen to it, I say, God, man.
So, so same human, different beast, yeah. Great. And it's coming out when? Hello? It's coming out when? Let's go to dates.
May 22nd. Yeah? No, June 10th. I'm sorry, I don't know the dates. I'm sorry.
But I know when the listening is happening though.
Okay.
But hopefully.
The listening is May
21st.
21st.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out on, I think first week in June. Yeah, I would say first week in June.
Yeah. So hopefully when this airs.
But the single is gonna come out on the 22nd.
Of May?
Yeah, of May.
Which one?
Worry.
Oh, that's a good one. I can't wait for you guys this because I'm already hearing it.
Yeah.
But it's for people that have not heard it, you'll get it. Hopefully when
Worry is, and it's really, I'm sure you guys you'll be excited about the WAJE now.
Yeah.
That you get
it's beautiful. I've seen pictures, the album cover.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
You're just doing show off now. Can you just close the show?
Yeah, now do you have Star in your family? You didn't wait. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching. This has been a very amazing conversation, I like to say. Thank you for coming, and I hope that you who's watching has definitely learned one or two things. Please do also follow WAJE on social media at WAJE.
Yeah.
Handle X and Instagram. Also do also follow us here at Picky Table. Handles are on the screen. Follow me, follow Joan, and please drop your comments in the comment section.
And be nice.
If you are not nice, then we come for you. Just so you know, I don't take.
God have done that.
And please do also subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we drop great, amazing content. Until we see you again. Deuces.